What's going on, everybody? This is another episode of Heroic Inspirations. I am not Ebony, I'm Gerard, but this is Ebony, and this is her blog, but we're just trying out something different, and we got a great response from the video last week about the plug, and so we really want to piggyback off of the plug again, but this time talking about what's the second part. The second part after you get plugged in, and it's being vulnerable, and vulnerability is something that my wife sometimes struggle with in our marriage, with other people, other relationships, but now not so much. But we just really want to hit on a little bit with this video the subject of vulnerability. So anything you want to add when it comes to vulnerability and maybe even in your own walk?
For me personally, being vulnerable meant that I had to be my true self, and a lot of times we like to bring our representatives to the table. That I like to call it. Even in dating, a lot of people say that you bring your representatives to the first date.
Right.
I don't think I did that to the first date, but
sources say otherwise.
anyways, but you know, it's just a place that you are coming outside of your comfort zone and you're letting down your guard and you're actually letting someone in. You're essentially standing there naked, letting somebody see every imperfection of yourself. You're sharing your heart, and when you do that, you have that fear of someone judging you, and so that's one of the reasons why I kind of struggle with being vulnerable. But once I was able to get plugged in and let my guard down and be vulnerable with people, that's where I kind of found that breakthrough happen, and it was just like, okay, I'm not the only one going through something.
Right. I think the thing that you just hit on is breakthrough happens when we are vulnerable with each other. And you know, I've heard different sermons and I've read a lot of different things about God can't heal what we continue to hide. So if we aren't vulnerable and if we aren't transparent with people, it's one thing to get connected with people, right? It's one thing to start building a network or build a community, but when you can't take it another level deeper, and you can't make that connection with people, or you have something that's going on within your life and you can't be authentic with someone or be transparent or be vulnerable, then it's never going to heal. And God can't get to that because you continue to wrap almost this protective layer around it. So it's really key for us, anyone, myself, you, anyone out there that's watching this video, to make sure you're being vulnerable with somebody.
And I think to piggyback off that one is that before you can be vulnerable with just somebody, you have to be vulnerable with yourself.
Yep.
Farah was saying how you're kind of encasing yourself in like I say glass bubble or whatever. But sometimes you have to go inside that bubble and look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, you know, this is me. And you have to first accept yourself for who you are, not necessarily look at your past or anticipate your future. You have to look at where you are right now and deal with what you're going through. Like just with like NA or AA, the first step is to admit to what it is. So you have to go and admit to yourself what it is that you're dealing with before you can go admit it to someone else. Because so many times we like to bring our representative because, like, again, we're scared to show who we are, and we want to tell people what we think they want to hear. So again, we're not being authentic in that situation. And I know in our marriage I've done that a lot just because I didn't want confrontation. So I would like bottle stuff up within myself, and I wouldn't get the healing or the resolutions that I was looking for because I was trying to look out for your feelings rather than just kind of share like what I'm going through. As far as being vulnerable.
Right. And then the other thing about vulnerability is really, you know, you touched on it, but just being able to be authentic. And I think so many times we fall into this trap of what you said before. We only want to present the nice external packaging, right? We want everything to be packaged right before we give it to someone. And that's not really how it is. Sometimes we have to come as broken as we are. Sometimes we have to come as failed and as flawed as we are before, again, that healing can happen. And I know for me, within our marriage, I was like that. I thought that I had to be, even early on we were dating, I would always say, hey, I don't think I'm good enough, or hey, I don't think I'm the person that I should be right now. But it's also having enough grace to say it's okay to not be exactly where you are right now. And I really think, and I encourage anyone who's out there that if you're just struggling with something, you're struggling with your identity, your self-worth, your esteem, that it's okay. And it's okay to be vulnerable with someone. But after you get plugged in, you have to make sure that you really are putting it out there and you're completely you. So I think that there's really a lot of power in being vulnerable. There really is.
Yeah, and I think when you said putting it all out there, when you put it out there, you have to be ready for change. You can't, and that's the biggest thing that I realized is that once I was able to be vulnerable with myself, that's when I had the courage to actually want to change. Because there's no point of being vulnerable and then you're not going to change your situation. Like you just have to want that change. If you're not ready for it, then it doesn't matter how vulnerable you say you are. You're still not being that true you because you're not embracing what God is trying to do within you.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. Well, I think we hit on a lot of stuff when it comes to vulnerability. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Just remember just to be your true self. Be true to you. Don't worry about what other people have to say. I know we live in a society where you can go get on social media and everyone looks good, but think of it as you go into the store and you're buying something that's packaged all pretty and you want to buy it, but then when you go home and open it, it's spoiled, it's sour. That's all of us until we make that decision to be vulnerable and get rid of all of the decaying things that are in the inside of us. So we want to be healthy on the outside as well as the inside, but it all starts with us first. So just make sure that your wrapper on the outside matches what you have on the inside.
That's good.
So with that being said, this is another episode of Heroic Inspirations, inspiring you guys to get you through the week. We hope you guys have a blessed week. We love you all and talk to you soon.